Hello students, today we will discuss about the life processes. As you know, to run the life, our body need various processes just like the nutrition, respiration, excretion, reproduction, etc. First we will discuss about the nutrition. Nutrition is the method of obtaining food or nutrients from the environment. In this process, organism you obtain food or nutrients from the environment. It is the method. It is the method by which any organism obtains food or nutrients from the environment, that is called nutrition. Nutrition is of two types: autotrophic mode of nutrition, heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition. Organisms synthesize organic material from inorganic sources, just like the green plants. They do photosynthesis and prepare their own food from the organic materials or inorganic sources. They synthesize their food from the inorganic sources. All green plants are called autotrophs because they prepare their own food by the inorganic sources. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. This is the mode of nutrition in which organisms derive food from other living organisms. Heterotrophic, this is type of the mode of nutrition in which organisms derive food from other living organisms. Autotrophs synthesize their food by the process of the photosynthesis. Photosynthesis breaks down into the two words photo and synthesis. Photo means life and synthesis means prepare. It means plants prepare their food in the presence of the light with the help of the photosynthesis. For this they need carbon dioxide, water, light, chlorophyll, and they produce the glucose in the form of the starch, and oxygen is released. During the process of photosynthesis, various events occurring during this process. First is the absorption of the light energy by chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the organelle that consists of the chloroplast, and it helps in the process of photosynthesis, and it also helps in the absorption of light energy. Second, conversion of light energy into the chemical energy. It converts light energy into the chemical energy, and also photolysis of the water, breakdown of the water molecule and produce the oxygen. Third is reduction of CO2 to carbohydrates. Here the carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrates and the process of photosynthesis takes place. Various raw materials for the photosynthesis are carbon dioxide, water, light, chlorophyll. Carbon dioxide take from the environment which the animal and various organisms breathe out, water from the nature, light from the sun, and chlorophyll, that is the organelles which convert the light energy to which help in the absorption of the light energy. And is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In this mode of nutrition, organisms derive their food from other living organisms. They take food from the other living organisms. They take ready-made food from the other organisms, just like the animals. It is of three types. First is saprotrophic nutrition. In this mode of nutrition, organisms take food from the dead and decaying material. They take food from the dead and decaying material, just like yeast, fungi, and mushroom. Parasitic. Parasitic mode of nutrition. They obtain food from the other living organisms. They take food from the other living organisms. Example, Cascata. The plant that feed, that is parasite, and on which that plant feed is called the host. There are the parasite and host in parasitic mode of nutrition. Holozoic mode of nutrition. Organism as a whole is taken by the another organism. In this mode of nutrition, whole animal is taken by the another organism, just like the amoeba and probe. Nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba is omnivorous and holozoic. It takes complete animal inside the body and this is holozoic mode of nutrition, and it is omnivores. Omnivores eat whether plants or animal all products. It feeds on the unicellular plants and animals. Various steps take place during the nutrition of the amoeba, that is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and digestion. Amoeba ingest food from the pseudopodia. This is the amoeba. Here, amoeba release some finger-like projections outside the body, and these are called the pseudopodia. Pseudopodia. These pseudopodia are also called the false sweat. These pseudopodia cover the food and cover with a membrane and engulf in it, and this become the food vacuole. In food vacuole, digestion started and digested food get absorbed and assimilated into the cytoplasm. Last step is egestion, removal of the undigested food. Here now the again food vacuole here release the membrane, and uh, the undigested food come out from this. No fixed organ is there, just like the anus. Now nutrition in human being. Nutrition in human being. As we have discussed in earlier videos, but now I am recalling here human digestive system. Here, as you know, it is started from the mouth, and this is called buccal cavity. In this buccal cavity, that is, here is a slimy amylase. Slimy amylase that release the saliva. Saliva is the watery substance, and it helps to kill the germs also and mix with the food and make the food bolus. Here are the teeth which help in cutting and grinding of the food, and a muscular teeth, muscular tongue which makes the circulate the food and makes the food. Here, this first step is ingestion. Intake of the food by the mouth is called ingestion. Now the food passes through the esophagus or food pipe. Esophagus or food pipe. Here no digestion takes place, but in the buccal cavity there is an enzyme ptyalin which helps in the digestion of carbohydrates. Now food enter into the stomach. It is J-shaped stomach. This stomach have gastric gland and release the gastric juice. This gastric juice consists of HCl, pepsin and mucus. HCl make the medium of the food acidic, and pepsin help in the digestion of the protein, and mucus protect the inner wall of the stomach from the extraction of the acid. Now here the food is partially digested. Here is leaf-like structure that is called pancreas. It releases pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice. It consists of enzyme trypsin, insulin and glucagon. Now, insulin and glucagon maintain the level of the sugar in our body. Here is the largest gland in the body, that is called liver. It produces the bile juice. When this bile juice extra released, then it is stored in the gallbladder. Now, here this is the small intestine. This is called duodenum. Duodenum, jejunum and ileum. All these are part of the small intestine. And cecum, colon, rectum. All these are part of the large intestine. Now after completing first step ingestion, food enter into the stomach and start digestion of the protein, and it is bile juice digested the fat, and here 99% food is digested and enter into the small intestine. First step ingestion, second is digestion, third is absorption. Now here are the some finger-like projections. These are called villi. These villi increase the surface area for the absorption of the food. So maximum food should be absorbed in the body by the different organs. This is absorption. Now next step, fourth step is assimilation. Fourth step is assimilation. And here this absorbed food is now utilized by the body and different organs. Now undigested food is ejected out from the anus. And the last step is, fifth step is egestion. Fifth step is egestion. Now nutrition in human being completed by the process ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Second step is cellular respiration. That is oxidation of the nutrients in the mitochondrial cell. Respiration takes place in the mitochondria. And here is the oxidation of the food for nutrients takes place, and that is called respiration. And by the oxidation of the nutrients, these nutrients release the energy. It is the catabolic process. Catabolic process means breakdown of the nutrients or glucose into the simple substance. That is catabolic process. Our body completed two steps, metabolic process and catabolic process. Metabolic process means synthesis of the various compounds, and catabolic process means breakdown of the various compounds. Here cellular respiration is of two types, aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic mode of respiration, in which oxidation of the food in presence of the oxygen. Just like the human and all animals, they respire by the aerobic process. Anaerobic process, oxidation of the food in the absence of oxygen. If there is no oxygen and they oxidize the food, then that organism are called anaerobes, and the process is called anaerobic respiration. Example is yeast. Now breakdown of the glucose by the various pathways. There are the different pathways for the breakdown of the glucose. First, glucose is the 6 carbon compound C6H12O6, and here the glycolysis, breakdown of the glucose by the process of glycolysis, and it will break down into the pyruvate 3 carbon compound and also release energy. It is completed in the 3 steps. First is absence of the oxygen. That is an aerobic process. That is, it forms the ethanol plus carbon dioxide and also release energy. This takes place in the yeast. Second is lack of oxygen. This takes place in the muscles. When you do vigorous exercise, then their muscles start pain and you feel pain in your muscles. Some lactic acid deposited in your muscles, and with this some energy is released. This is lack of oxygen. Now the presence of oxygen. Presence of oxygen means aerobic respiration. This takes place in the mitochondria. And carbon dioxide, water and energy is released, and this takes place in the human being and mostly animals. This energy is released in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is formed from the ADP and phosphorus. ADP, adenosine diphosphate, combine with the phosphate and form the ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. This is the energy currency of our body, and it provides energy to our body. We will discuss about the human respiratory system. Human respiratory system. It started from the nose. This is nasal cavity. This is nasal cavity. Upper to the buccal cavity, there is a cavity starting from the nose, that is called the nasal cavity, and these are nostrils. In your nasal cavity, there are some here. These filter the air. Filter the air. And this nasal cavity also acts as AC. It maintains the level of the air or temperature of the air according to the lungs. Here is another slippery substance that is called mucus. That is called mucus. Now, this is called trachea. Trachea. This is called trachea. Here is a flap-like structure that is called glottis. This glottis, when we will take food, then it closes the windpipe or nasal cavity. And when we respire, then it will close the food pipe or the buccal cavity. This is called glottis. Now this trachea divides into the two bronchus, and these bronchus enter into the two lungs, and this is bronchus or bronchi. These bronchi further divided into the branch structure. These are called bronchioles. Bronchioles. These bronchioles end into a balloon-like structure. These are called air sac. Air sac. These lungs covered with a membrane that is called pleura. Pleura. Here is another membrane that separates the stomach and thoracic region, that is diaphragm. That is diaphragm. Now, when we inhale air, that process is called inhalation. Inhalation means inhale of O2 or oxygen. When we inhale oxygen, then these here filter the air and stop the dust particle and insect here, and also control the temperature of the air, and this mucus makes the protect the nasal cavity lining from the hot or cold temperature and any other harmful substance, and then this air moves from the windpipe to the lungs. In the lungs, here air sacs, they are attached with the blood vessels. Blood vessels. These blood vessels take the oxygen and send it to the different body parts into the body, and now again food oxidation takes place and release carbon dioxide and energy. Energy is used by the body, and this carbon dioxide brings back by the blood vessels to the lungs, and then this oxygen, this carbon dioxide expelled out by the nasal cavity. Inhalation means inhale of O2, that is in thoracic cavity. Chest cavity is called thoracic cavity. This thoracic cavity volume increase. Volume increase. When this thoracic cavity volume increase, then we inhale maximum of oxygen and the pressure will decrease. Pressure will decrease. This is controlled by the intercostal muscles. Here are ribs, and with the ribs there are some intercostal muscles in the lungs, and these control the mechanism of breathing. Now the exhalation. Exhalation means exhale of carbon dioxide. Exhale of carbon dioxide. That is thoracic cavity. Volume decrease. When its volume decrease and the pressure increase. Pressure increase. When the pressure increase in this thoracic cavity, then due to this extra pressure, this carbon dioxide is exhaled out. Student, now the third part of the life process is transportation. Transportation in human beings. Transportation in human beings carried out by the well-defined circulatory system. And circulatory system comprises of the heart, blood vessels, blood lymphatic vessels, and the lymph. This circulatory system comprises of the heart, different blood vessels, blood, lymphatic vessels, and the lymph. First, we will discuss about the blood. Blood, it is the red colored liquid, and it is the connective tissue. It is called the connective tissue because it connects the whole body parts. There is no part where blood is not present. That's why it connects the whole body part. That is why it is called connective tissue, and it is red in color due to the red colored pigment. It consists of two parts, plasma and the blood corpuscles. Blood corpuscles or cell. Plasma. It is the water-like substance. It consists of the certain proteins, salt, hormones, etc. And plasma consists of the serum and fibrinogen. Serum and fibrinogen. Blood corpuscles or blood cells. Blood cells are of three types. RBC, red blood corpuscles, WBC, white blood corpuscles, and blood platelets. RBC also called erythrocytes. WBC also called leukocytes. Blood platelets also called thrombocytes. RBC or erythrocytes. These are the minute cells, circular in shape, biconcave, dish, having no nucleus. They have no nucleus, and these are red due to the presence of the pigment hemoglobin. WBC. These are the white blood cells, mean these are colorless cells. These are also called leukocytes. These are larger than the RBC. These are nucleated, but RBC is non-nucleated. These are nucleated. They are of further two types, granulocytes, agranulocytes. Granulocytes, basophils, eosinophils, neutrophils. Agranulocytes are of further two types, monocytes and lymphocytes. Blood platelets. Blood platelets are also called thrombocytes. These platelets help in the coagulation of the blood or help in the clotting of the blood. These are rounded and colorless cells. These cells are rounded in shape and colorless. These are non-nucleated and they are present in the bone marrow. How does human heart work? This is the right auricle. That this space is right auricle and this is right ventricle. Right auricle receives deoxygenated blood. It means it carries carbon dioxide mixing blood, that is called deoxygenated blood. Right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the body parts. Superior vena cava give blood to from the upper part and inferior vena cava give blood from the lower body part. That right auricle or right atrium receive deoxygenated blood from the body parts, upper as well as lower body parts, and then this blood went to the ventricle, right ventricle. From this, the blood from the pulmonary arteries went to the lungs. Then this blood went to the lungs for the purification. Purification means deoxygenated blood mixed with the oxygen and it become oxygenated blood. Now it is the pure blood or oxygenated blood. Now oxygenated blood come to the left auricle. Oxygenated blood come to the left auricle and from the left auricle it went to the left ventricle. Now the blood come to the left ventricle. From here, from the left ventricle, blood from the aorta. The aorta is the largest artery. Aorta is the largest artery which send the oxygenated blood to the all the body parts. Ventricles. The walls of the ventricles are slightly thick because it have the pressure to send the blood to whole body parts. To whole body parts through the aorta. Aorta is the largest artery and this aorta now again send the blood to the body parts and this oxygen containing blood now deoxidize the food and convert it into the energy and now again the oxygenated blood carry by the blood and again carry to the right auricle. This time in this circulation, blood enter two times in the heart. First in the right auricle, then to the lungs and then again to the left auricle. This is called double circulation. Double circulation. Because two times blood circulate in the heart. Two times. Blood circulate two times in the human heart. That's why this is called double circulation. Here the blood goes to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. Because it is purified here or oxygenated here, that circulation is called pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation. And the aorta sends the blood to the different body organ. That is the largest artery that carry the oxygenated blood to the different body part and to the total system of the body, that is called systemic circulation. Here is two type of circulation, pulmonary and systemic circulation. Pulmonary in the lungs, pulmonary word used for the lungs and systemic word used for the different body organ or the system of the body. Two times blood enter into the heart, that why it is called double circulation. Students, today we will discuss about the excretory system. Excretory system in human being. Excretory system. Excretory system started from the kidney. In our body there are two bean-shaped kidneys. These are bean-shaped, two kidneys, and from these kidneys two tubes arise, each from each kidney. This is kidney. This is ureter. And these two tubes open into a reservoir that is called urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. And open into the tube urethra. Open into the tube urethra. Here are the arteries and veins that carry the blood to the kidney. Arteries, renal arteries and renal veins. These carry the blood to the kidney for the filtration of the blood so that kidney can purify the blood and remove the waste product from the ureter and stored for some time in the reservoir urinary bladder, and at the time of the menstruation, urine is released from the urethra. Kidney consists of the last number of the uriniferous tubules or filtration unit that is called nephron. These are the filtering unit into the kidney which help in the filtration of the blood and purification of the blood and release harmful substance in the form of the urine, a yellow colored product, liquid product that is separated from the blood with the help of the nephron or excretory filtration unit, that is uriniferous tubules or nephron. Discuss about the nephrons or uriniferous tubules. Uriniferous tubules. These nephrons are the functional unit of kidney. These are the functional unit of kidney. These help in the filtration of the blood and remove the excretory product, and it started from the Bowman capsule. This cup-shaped structure is called Bowman capsule. This Bowman capsule connected with the tube that is called proximal convoluted tubule, and on the other side distal convoluted tubules. This is called DCT or distal convoluted tubules, and PCT, proximal convoluted tubules. This thin part is called lymphohanley, and this is called collecting duct. Here is the group of blood vessels that is called glomerulus. This glomerulus consists of the blood vessels, and here the blood enter into the Bowman capsules and filter through this, and then water and some useful substance reabsorbed by the PCT and DCT, and the urine is collecting in the collecting duct and sent to the urine kidney, and this lower part is present in the medulla, and upper part is, that is Bowman capsule, is present in the cortex of the kidney. This is the functional unit of the kidney and present inside the kidney in large numbers. Here the blood filters from the Bowman capsule, and then slowly useful substance reabsorbed just like the water, protein, carbohydrates and other substance, and the excretory substance excrete here and collect in the collecting duct and then sent to the kidney and then to the ureter and then to the urinary bladder and then to the urethra. Thank you.